When the first LEGO Star Wars special was announced, I was a bit hesitant about what we would be getting. I had watched quite a lot of older LEGO Star Wars shorts, and while they were all fun, it was definitely a goofier style of storytelling. There's less of a focus on story and characters, and more on the themes of the story, which isn't all bad. However, now with the third special releasing in as many years, I've gotten more and more excited every time a new one comes out. Personally, Summer Vacation was my least favorite of the three, but that's exactly what it was, least favorite. I still enjoyed a lot of it, just the overall special wasn't as enjoyable to watch as the other two. One of the things I came into it worrying about is that it would be turned into one large advertisement for the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, and that was the only reason for having the story set on the Halcyon. However, having it set at this location allowed them to tell a specific story about the entire gang doing their own thing after Finn tried to plan a nice vacation for them all. Could it have been at some resort on a familiar planet? Yes. But this special was a nice mix of storytelling and potentially introducing or fleshing out the Halcyon. For the most part, all three stories were fine. They helped illustrate a message to Finn and the viewer, but there was nothing that blew me away, although I'm definitely not the target audience when it comes to these specials. My favorite was probably the last one, just because of how nice it was to see Han, Leia, and Ben together in a story. It showed some of the problems that they had as a family, and what it was like for Han and Leia to let Ben go. It was described before in the films, but we never actually got to see it. The theme of letting go, as ever-present as it is in all Star Wars stories, is still an important one to hammer home, especially for that younger audience. It isn't as dramatic in this story, but we see it with Anakin and his inability to let go of his loved ones that ultimately draws him to the dark side. Loss is always hard, but when you worry too much about losing what you have, you start to change your priorities and put small things above the more important parts of life. It's never easy, no matter what age you are, but letting go is a part of life, whether it be a loved one that passed away or losing a possession that you deemed valuable, even though it may have just been a toy or a rock. Even though these LEGO specials can be silly, there's always something that a fan of any age can take away. The other two stories were much more lighthearted, with Obi-Wan helping a rebel steal coaxium from Jabba's palace, and Darth Vader taking Palpatine on a vacation to Scarif. Both were fun, and seeing Obi-Wan was a welcomed surprise, but there wasn't much else that stood out to me in them, other than a few Easter eggs here and there. And of course, I'll never turn down an opportunity to see Max Rebo jamming out. Even though I didn't enjoy this special as much as the others, there was one specific moment that got me very excited for post-sequel storytelling. As with any other LEGO story, the events are probably not completely canonical, but the broad strokes are. Here, I'm assuming that Finn did take the gang on a vacation, and that everyone was struggling with having to say goodbye to each other, knowing they'd all be going their separate ways soon. Near the end, when everyone's starting to get emotional, Finn mentions how Rey is traveling to the unknown regions looking for Jedi temples. Poe plans on training new X-Wing pilots, and Rose will be leading relief missions, and he's going to be searching for other Force sensitives throughout the galaxy. I assume we'll see Poe in the Rogue Squadron movie, should it ever come out, but Rey, Rose, and Finn are off doing their own thing, and those are stories that I would love to see, whether it be a book, comic, or Disney Plus series. Rey searching the unknown regions is particularly interesting to me, because while Luke did do some searching for Jedi temples and artifacts, we never got to see much of that other than a few planets, like Elphrona and Pelio. The lore junkie in me loved this dialogue from Finn that may be explaining what the Resistance heroes are all doing after defeating Palpatine, but the Star Wars fan in me nearly teared up at the following scene. I had seen some reactions before watching that the LEGO special made them cry, and for the majority of my viewing, I didn't really understand what there was to get emotional about. But once Finn started recounting how he met Rey and Poe, and what he learned from all three of his friends, I began to get nostalgic for the movies. The Force Awakens only released 7 years ago, but for me, that feels like forever. Going to see my first Star Wars movie in a theater, I was a completely different person. For one, I hadn't started this channel yet, and I wasn't nearly as obsessed or invested in with the Star Wars universe at the time. I saw that movie just looking for something to enjoy, just happy that there were movies being made again. And afterward, I didn't go online to see the online community spitting hate about everything they disliked. I was able to just enjoy it for myself and talk with close friends about it. So seeing Finn and Poe in that TIE fighter, meeting each other for the first time with Poe giving Finn his name, and then Rey and Finn escaping Jakku together with BB-8 made me realize just how far both these characters and myself have come since they came together in 2015. Even Rose, who I was never really able to connect and grow attached to, had her nice moment with Finn in The Last Jedi. There was also just something different about seeing these scenes recreated in LEGO animation that helped with the nostalgia. With LEGO and Lucasfilm teaming up to release 3 specials in the past 3 years, and with all of them getting generally positive reactions, I don't see why it wouldn't continue on the same yearly schedule. We've already gotten summer, Halloween, and the holiday season, so maybe something like New Year's, Easter, or 4th of July could be next, depending on what would connect the most to their audience. Something in the spring definitely seems most likely, now that we've gotten a winter, fall, and summer special, but we'll just have to wait and see if any announcement will be made. Let me know what you thought of LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation in the comments below, and which of the 3 specials is your favorite. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more reviews, breakdowns, news stories, and more. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.